Hello everybody, I'm Max. If you're new to the channel, I make videos about personal development, finance, and productivity. If that sounds like something you may be interested in, please consider subscribing. So, if I had to do just one thing to make sure my finances were under control, here's what I would do. I would make sure that my spending is less than my income. That's it. That's the whole video. Thank you for watching. I'm kidding, there's still 8 minutes of the video left. But it really is that simple. If you want to be wealthy, you need to make sure less money is going out of your pocket than what is coming in. I know what some of you are thinking. That's common sense, Max. Tell me something I don't know. Well, did you know that grapes explode when you put them in the microwave? Let's get back on track. The first step to start spending less than you make is knowing how much money you make and how much money you spend. It sounds very simple, and it is, but still many people have no idea what the current state of their finances is. Most people know how much their income is. It's usually whatever they get paid through their salary, whether you get paid every week, every 2 weeks, or once a month. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is the money that's coming into your bank account. What most people don't know, however, is how much they're spending. They might know how much they spend on certain things like their mortgage or their rent, but a large portion of their spending goes completely untracked. It seems as if as soon as they get their paycheck, it vanishes and they can't pinpoint exactly where it all went. Finding out how much you spend shouldn't be too hard. I would start by looking at my expenses with a fixed cost, things like your mortgage, rent, car payment, phone bill, subscriptions, you get the idea. These are easy to calculate because they're the same amount every month. You already know how much you're going to spend up front, so you don't really have to do much investigating or guessing work. After that, I would look at my variable expenses. This can be things like groceries, going out to eat, changing your phone, buying furniture, vacations, buying clothes. Some of these can be a one-time expense. Others might be recurring. But what they all have in common is that the amount you spend on each of them isn't fixed and can be changed if you decide to. Here, it's a bit trickier to see how much you're spending since the amount you spend isn't consistent and varies from month to month. What I find is easiest for me in this case is to average it out. For example, to figure out how much I spend on groceries, I would add up how much I've spent over the last few months in total and then divide it by the number of months in order to calculate the average. Then I would work with the result that comes out. If you add up all of these expenses, you should get a pretty good idea of how much you're spending in total per month. So, now that you know how much you're making and how much you're spending, you need to subtract the two values and you'll be able to see how much money you're actually keeping after paying for all of your expenses. If you have money left over, that's great. As long as your income and expenses remain the same, your wealth will grow. If instead you don't have any money left over, or worse, you find that you spend more than you're making, you need to make some changes to turn the situation around. In any case, whether you have money left over or not, the next step to take is to create a budget. When creating your budget, you're going to take into account your income and all of your expenses. Your fixed expenses are easy to include in your budget. Just set aside the same amount every month that you know you're going to need. For your variable expenses, you should set your budget based on how much you spend according to what you calculated in the previous step. The more accurate you can be, the better. That way, you won't give yourself permission to spend more money than what's actually necessary. Now that you're creating your budget, it's also the perfect moment to smash the like button. I'm kidding, but seriously, hit the like button. Now is really the perfect moment to see if you have any spending that can be cut down. Some of the places where you can save money are in your insurance, your phone bill, or eating out, just to name a few. You should always shop around for better deals. See if you can get the same insurance coverage somewhere else for less money. Call your phone company and ask what deals they're running, or maybe change to a different provider altogether. Whatever small amount of money you can save per month will add up over time. Saving as little as $25 a month on something like your phone bill will translate into $300 more that you will get to keep at the end of just 1 year. Imagine how much you can save over your lifespan if you're always looking for the best deal. It could literally be tens of thousands of dollars. Speaking of saving, now is also a good time to set aside a certain amount that will go into savings or long-term investments. 10% of your income is usually considered a good number to strive for and the minimum you should be saving if you want to reach retirement age with enough money to maintain your current lifestyle. If you can manage to set aside a bit more, then that's even better, since any amount you save above 10% will allow you to retire years and years sooner. So, once you've figured out how much money you're making, how much money you're spending, and have created a budget, the last step you have to take is to actually stick to your budget. This is easier said than done. Unless you're actively tracking your spending, it's very easy to exceed the limits you impose on yourself. What I found works for me is using an expense tracking app and writing down any expense I have as soon as I finish paying for it. I personally use the app CoinKeeper, which is free to use on Android. The way the app works is simple. You have coin-shaped categories that represent your income sources, your accounts, and your expenses. Whenever you get paid, you drag the coin from your income source to your personal account. And whenever you buy something, you drag the coin from the account you used to pay to the corresponding expense. I'm not affiliated with them, I'm not getting paid to promote them, I'm recommending their app because I genuinely like it and use it. I find their user interface to be very easy to use compared to others I've tried, and the process to record your spending is very fast and simple. However, if you don't like that app, a quick search on the Play Store on Android or the App Store on iPhone should return plenty of apps to choose from. Just find one that works for you. There's literally thousands to choose from. If you're looking for a less hands-on approach, something where you don't have to manually insert your expenses, then a good place to look is in the app offered from your bank, since they tend to classify your expenses into different categories automatically. Just make sure to constantly come back to check how much you've spent and if you're on track with your budget. You should be checking how you're doing at least once per day. I personally prefer keeping track myself, since it makes me aware of each purchase that I make. I'm constantly seeing how much I'm spending and how much of my budget I have left over for the rest of the month. Sure, it's more cumbersome, but that's what makes it so effective. It's also sometimes a good way to keep yourself from making unnecessary purchases. Just the tiny amount of inconvenience that's added by having to open the app and write down what I spend is enough to keep me from making some impulse purchases that I would have otherwise made. So, to sum it all up, the 3 steps you should be taking to keep your finances in order are figuring out how much you earn and how much you spend, creating a budget, and sticking to it, which basically means that you have to spend less money than you're making. That was all for this video. Thank you for watching all the way until the end. I really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Also, don't forget to smash the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, remember to subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you next week. Bye.